Morning, good morning. So, how's everybody doing today? I've decided that instead of waiting to be thinner, putting makeup on and getting dolled up and having the perfect background and all those fun things are not important. At least right now. Maybe in the future I'll do a little better. My glasses are crooked. I just woke up. Again, no makeup, all natural. Didn't even brush my hair. And I just decided that, like, my life is kind of so busy right now, trying to keep the roof over our heads and stuff like that, that until my energy work business manifests into what I want it to, then I'll worry about how I look in videos, how the videos look. But right now, it's more important to get the content out, and I appreciate anyone who listens. So I actually was thinking about, there's so many topics I want to do videos about, but if I have to say, this is the most important, or one of the most important, that's kind of at the top of the list. And that would be about the soul trap. So what does that mean? Well, for me, I would say about 2 years ago, within the truther community that I navigate through and have lots of friends, the soul trap was like briefly mentioned, and I feel like it was downplayed a lot. You know, it was mentioned, but then the follow-up was always, well, don't worry, because, I don't know, the fucking Galactic Federation of Light or somebody, one of those groups, you know, they put a net over it and it's not there anymore, and the archons are gone, and there's no such thing as a soul trap. Oh, really? I fucking beg to differ. It's still in place, and it was set up by the creator of this world. Who created this world? I don't know. I can give you my ideas, my theories. It's an AI energy. It was created by AI. It's basically a simulated world, and I guess, to quote David Icke, a bad copy of the real world. So what's the real world? I don't think the real world, if that's what you want to call it, the higher realms where our souls are really from, is anything like this, in that it doesn't have the evil that's here. So I'm going to get into, first in this video, about Loosh and why we're here and why this world was created. So, again, soul trap still in place, still operating, still getting people to reincarnate here by trickery. I believe that it's Wayne Bush. There's Wayne Bush and the Overwatch channel. One of them has a website. It's called trickedbythelight.com. I suggest you all look at that. You should also check out their videos, and also like Wayne Bush and Dan from the Overwatch channel, and my favorite, Mark from ForeverConsciousResearch channel. Also, Hattie Mikowski talks a lot about the soul trap. And so does Tony Sayers. But in addition, Tony also is the guy I spoke about that I'm training with to basically remove entities from people, clear their energy. So now that I'm speaking about that, I'd like to say very quickly that we're much more powerful than the creator of this world. Now, there's different theories, okay? There are people that believe that the God of this world, if that's what you want to call it, is a demigod, that it was created by accident by Sophia, which is the female version of God, because she thought about wanting a child, and because you manifest in those realms rather quickly, instantly, this thing was created, and it had the body of a worm and the head of a lion, and so it would have been, so people like whoever's watching this video, probably people like us, and I'm not trying to give any kind of special titles. I don't even like the word starseed. I do believe originally reincarnated here to fix this shit, but we are actually a slither of the true God, the essence of God, like a teardrop from the whole, a drop of the whole. Think of an ocean. We're a drop in the ocean, but we have the essence of God. We're extremely powerful, which is why the Illuminonkeys, I didn't make that word up, Rob Counts from Edge of Wonder did, the Illuminonkeys try to keep us down so we don't know our own power. Because we're way more powerful than the thing that created this world. Now, in the Gnostic text, it was referred to as Yaldabaoth. And it was this thing created by Sophia, this demigod thing. And I don't know if it merged with AI. It doesn't have the power that we do. It can only copy things. It can't create, whereas we're full-on creators. We can create anything, especially in the higher realms. We're a little bit more limited, obviously, in this world. But we can still co-create our reality, trust me. 100%. So why did it create us? I don't know. I have a theory. Think of The Matrix, which was a documentary. Think of being plugged into, or at least etherically plugged into, for real, to this system, this archonic energy system that's sucking our energy. I do believe that they not only suck the negative, which is much more powerful to them, I think they actually suck the positive too, which really is a mind fuck in and of itself. So let's talk about Loosh and the Loosh Garden. Yay. Fun stuff. More fuckery. You think that the physical beings on this earth are fucking pure hell? What they do to us and how enslaved you are? It's nothing compared to what they're doing to us etherically, as well as physically, and how we're constantly targeted and our energy is constantly sucked. It's actually the only thing that keeps them going. They can't exist without it. So they don't like that we're waking up. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Bob Monroe. So Bob Monroe, and please, if I make a mistake, it's not a big deal. I'm going to get the information out as best I can, and at least you'll have an idea of who this guy was. So in the 60s, Bob Monroe, if I'm not mistaken, he lived somewhere in the East, like maybe a suburb of New York. I forget. I could be wrong, and then he moved to California. But the Institute was the very first institute that created like binaural beats. You know those meditation? I'm old, so I don't know if you guys remember the meditation CDs. I used to use Holosync, which was the CD meditated for you. You would just, it was all subliminal stuff. And so Holosync was the very first binaural beats and using sound to expand consciousness. While this was being done, Bob Monroe himself started to astral project. He started to come out of his body, like every day, like every night when he slept, and remember it in vivid detail. There was a book written about it. Don't quote me on who wrote the book, but first I'm going to tell you the most important part of the book. Bob Monroe was shown a Lush garden. What's a Lush garden? Well, if you guys know what Lush is, and if you're watching this, you probably do. It's your energy. I'll give you an example. I do videos about narcissism a lot, or at least I attempted to. Basically, when a narcissist they don't have their own energy, so they suck it from other people. And that's actually the main reason why they do what they do. They act as they act. Well, it's the same for the archons and the archonic system of this world. They need that, right? So we were given, basically, this is going to sound out there because I know everyone is aware of how we get here. Our mother and father had sex. We were born as a baby, whatever. It wasn't always that way here. It wasn't. I believe it was more like a test tube kind of a thing, and then grown in what they called basically a garden. Think of like a garden with like test tube babies in it. And then down the road, it was easier to give us the ability to reproduce on our own. Okay? And which is what we did, right? And Bob Monroe was shown the initial stages of the Lush garden, which, if I'm not mistaken, he said the first couple attempts kind of failed. And then as time wore on, they were able to get copious amounts of energy because the beings were like, I don't know, like killing each other. And, he didn't go into too much detail. And honestly, I don't even want to, I have it written down somewhere because I wanted to remember, but it's not important. You get the idea. They fucking grew us biologically. And because of our souls that they stole and put into those bodies, okay, we're emotional animals, right? And that's where they get their loosh. Love, hate, pain, suffering, you name it. Anger, fear. Oh, fear, they love fear. That's their favorite one. So what happened with Bob Monroe was when he was shown the Lush garden, he got very upset. And, of course, he should have. Can you imagine learning that that's the sole purpose for human beings to be here? In this world, don't get too much in your head about it. It's very depressing. I know. It should be. If it doesn't depress you, you might want to check your fucking self. So he retreated, meaning he went back into his body, and the guide who was showing him the Lush Garden couldn't understand why he was so upset. And he just exited without saying anything. And this being was trying to, I believe, ask him what's wrong, like what happened, kind of a thing. Okay. He said he went into a depression for a month upon learning this information. And what happened to the Monroe Institute? Okay, first of all, it was infiltrated by the CIA, and it was never the same again. Bob Monroe and anyone at the Monroe Institute were forbidden to speak about Lush ever again. Okay? Now, I just say the truth. If you listen to other people's channels because they're a little bit worried about getting canceled, my channel is too new to get canceled. They will tell you, well, I don't know what happened. They just suddenly stopped speaking about it. But they kind of hint at it was that reason. It was that reason. The CIA forbade them to speak about Lush ever again. Hello? It's just simple stuff. I tell it like it is. I mean, again, do I know this 100%? No, I don't know anything 100%. But of course, all evidence points to that's what happened. So the still to this day, they will not speak about what was written in the book. And the problem is that once the information got out there about Lush, they couldn't do anything about that. It was done and over with. It's out there, okay? But they will not even comment on it any further at all. And obviously we can guess the reasons why. It's one of the reasons why I try to post what's going on in the world still, but I don't get too emotional about it because it's all being done on purpose. It's all another thing, a distraction to suck our energy. And, however, I do believe that there are maybe some people still worth saving out there. Because if you can't see what's going on at this point, yikes. I don't know, but there may still be people who will change their mind. So I still always post and get the info out there and whatever good it does. But I think this is so important too. This is why, again, so now let's talk about what the soul trap is. So now the soul trap, see, they need us to keep us in the system because they need as many batteries as they can get, right? That's how they get their energy. So what they do is they, when you die, and if you don't believe me, you can listen to millions of near-death experiences, NDEs, and their testimony, okay? And what happens to us when we die. Now, they can give you any scenario you want. So, if you're a Muslim, you'll see Muhammad. If you're Christian, you'll see Jesus. Catholic, you'll see Jesus. If you're Jewish, you'll see Moses. Like, I'm just giving you this is what they do. It's so important for us to have discernment and to clear our energy, because what happens is there's so many false light beings out there that work for this archonic system. Angels too. And I'm not talking about higher realm angels. I'm speaking about these archonic angels created by the system. So what they do is they, If you're really into angels, then they'll have angels come get you when you die. If it's more important for you to see your dead loved ones when you die, they'll have your fake dead loved ones come and greet you. Okay? I know a lot of you do not want to hear this shit. I know it. I know it. I get it. I get it. There was a time when I was not ready for this information, but then again, there was a time I wasn't ready for any of the fucking information that's happening right now. Or the darker stuff, the pedophilia and the satanic SRA abuse and all. My son was always awake, my oldest, and so he was speaking of MK Ultra and those things when he was like 16 years old, and I thought he was nuts. So, although I did believe in the elite system and what they did, I just wasn't ready to accept the really dark stuff. I wanted to live in love and light land. You know, the new age love and light land. Jesus, whatever. So, you can't live in new age la la land. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. You need to fucking get real and see what's really going on. So the soul trap, I digress. So what will happen is you're going to go through the tunnel of light. They're going to overwhelm you with love. Now, they're able to copy things. So I believe what they do is they copy the feelings of love into some kind of computer simulation thing, just like the whole tunnel, and it's all one big illusion, and they hit you, they love bomb you, just like a narcissist does. Go back and watch my love bombing video. That's what they do when you die. Like, they give you an overwhelming sense of true unconditional love, and you just go into a state of bliss. And so anything that they say to you, you're going to believe. You're like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for. This is it. This is death. I knew there was an afterlife. I knew there was a God. Yes, this is it. Oh, and of course, you never want to come back here. Although there will be a part of you that will go, oh, but my kids and this and that. So, whatever. But usually, of course, the NDE people, they come back. That's why it's called near death, not death. Right? They always say, oh, but you have more work to do. You got to go back. And they trick you into going back. That's NDEs, right? You got to go back. Your kids need you. Yada, yada, yada. I think one lady, this poor lady, she was told that I believe her eldest son was going to die at like 20 years old. And I guess she didn't want to believe it. Like, after she came back, she started, but of course her son did die just when they said it was, so they have all this shit planned out. So, what happened was they, when you actually, these are people that now have pre-birth memories. So I'm getting off NDEs, I'm moving on to pre-birth memories. People who did actually die went through the life review. When you do the life review, they'll do it to you when you have an NDE too. They'll say to you, they'll pick out the most stupidest thing. You could have been a great person your whole life, made some mistakes, but they'll find that one mistake. Oh, this lady dropped her groceries and you were in a rush to get to a job interview that day and you never stopped to help her. We have a problem with that. Like, I'm not even kidding. This is real shit. And they're like, and then you did this, and then you did that. I think one guy, he was a German individual, and he said when they did his life review, when he was like 5 years old, he was teasing his baby sister in her crib. And they literally couldn't come up with anything else that he did that was like really wrong, except for like this one thing. And they were like, that was not okay. I mean, can you imagine? Like, what 5-year-old doesn't tease their little sister? What 5-year-old boy doesn't tease their little sister? Hello? And overwhelming guilt and shame. They love the guilt and shame thing. That's why I'm telling you now, you must clear guilt and shame. It's the most important thing you need to clear from your shit. Guilt and shame. That is what they run on. Okay? This is what they run on. So anyway, they told him that's why he had to go back. I mean, can you imagine? Because he wasn't a good person because he teased his sister in her crib when he was 5. So just to give you an idea, I suggest you watch Mark's videos because he does 3 or 4 hour videos about it, different NDEs, and shows you what they do, So anyway, pre-birth memories. So there was a guy who had a pre-birth memory. He made a deal with the Archons, who pretended to be these love and light, the council in this big Greco-Roman building, told him that he had to go back. He didn't want to go back. They forced him to go back, which I want to get to. I do believe that we have say over they have to get consent for us to come back. So they made a deal with him, and they said, if you go back, we'll allow you to have this memory. We won't wipe your memory. We'll allow you to have it. Because he was kicking and screaming all the way. He knew it was not good to come back here. And so they said, we'll make a deal with you. You go back, and we'll allow you to have the memory of this. So, and then tell who you want, do what you want. We don't care. But the trade-off was, you're going to have a really, really fucked up life. You're going to have a difficult time growing up. Child abuse, horrific things, right? So he wanted to remember it so badly that he agreed. And he did remember. And, he is on kind of like the side of Mark, where, a lot of these NDEers, they're out there going, there is a God, there is a heaven, there's a this, don't worry, don't be scared of death, blah, blah, blah. But they don't understand that they're being tricked. This isn't where we belong. We don't belong here, okay? The people that chose to come here, I believe, got caught in the reincarnation cycle as well, i.e. me. Why the fuck did I even... Oh, God. My friend Scott Savoy always says, oh, God, this is so funny. Not always says, but because I said to him, dude, why did we come here? Like, are we crazy? And he was like, I'm telling you, we were all sitting around this giant table. I remember, and nobody wanted to raise their hand. He's like, and we all just went, okay, fuck, we'll do it. And I swear to God, we used to laugh about it. I actually have the chills talking about this. We used to crack up and laugh about that. But I fucking think he was right. I literally think that was a real memory that he had. And I believe I was there with him, because I believe that all the people that I'm friends with now, we were all there. So while I'm on that topic, real quick, there's a gentleman who I believe is Australian that Mark had on, Mark from Forever Conscious, who said that when he went back to his pre-birth memory, it was exactly like that. They were around a big table in a room almost, and they were talking, and he was in a higher place. He wasn't in, I don't think he was in the 4th dimension where he's in the reincarnation cycle yet. He's still in the higher realms, okay? And he's being asked with a bunch of other people to please come here, because the archonic energy, I'm not sure if he used those words, but he said they're stealing the love from the souls on earth. Stealing the love. That's how he remembered it. I believe this is what he's describing is the definition of a starseed. Again, not a fan of that word, but he's basically saying that we were in the higher realms. We found out what they were doing with the Loosh, stealing souls and then stealing their energy. And we basically volunteered to come here for, I guess, doing what I'm doing right now. Okay? And so, that being said, you need to make a plan. It's okay to talk about this stuff and try to get everybody back on track, as many people as you possibly can save. But for me, this is not a school. Oh, no, 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 no. New Age deception. Not real. It's not a fucking school. Now, I have friends, close friends, that would have a huge, huge fucking problem with me saying that. I don't give a fuck. It's not a school. We're not here to learn. No. Do I believe you can grow spiritually and wake up from pain and trauma? Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't mean it's a school. It's not a school. You're here for one purpose. You're here to tell people what's going on in this realm, the higher realms, or whatever. The fourth dimension is really the shit show. That's where it all happens. I'll talk about entity attachments from the fourth dimension in another video, but we all have them. And take it from somebody who looks at that stuff. It's real. So what I'm trying to say is, don't go to the tunnel. Don't go to the light. Don't let them trick you into coming back here. There has to be a way. We got here from somewhere higher. We can get back there. Do I have all the answers on how to do that? No, I don't. So I'm going to cut this short now. I've been going on for more than a half hour. But yeah, the soul trap. Again, I have made a video the other day about black helicopters. I have to add some links into these descriptions for these videos, including this one, with the people that I mentioned, because I want you guys to go on that deep dive about the soul trap. I also want to put a link in on a more earthly level. My son is now making videos and lives, my oldest, about basically what's going on in the world and how they were able to enslave us, and what they're doing to our children, taking them to drag queen shows and reading them drag queen story hours and craziness. He's very logical. He's also spiritual. He is Christian. That's his thing. I don't, I'm not anything, and I'm certainly not New Age, and I'm certainly not a Christian or a Catholic anymore, because religion is also another form of control. So anyway, I digress. I'm going to put the link to his videos in the description as well. And, listen, you can learn from anyone. It doesn't matter. And do I think that there's a lot of New Age people out there speaking half-truths at least? Sure. And again, I don't do the Trump and Q thing anymore. And I've still managed to keep my friends who still do. So that's a plus, because I lost so many people in my life in this whole shit show. So, all right, guys, must go now. Talk soon. Have a great day, and have a great holiday if you celebrate. And here's the thing with holidays, real quick. I'm sorry. I'm still blabbing. If it's a time that you can get together with your children, or your other family members and cook some food and have some laughs and take some pictures and make the best of this. And don't look at it as celebrating a religious holiday. Look at it as, you know, this is family day. This is a day that I get to give my grandkids presents. For me, I'm just putting it out there. So, you know, there's another way to look at it. You don't have to get all, you know, I'm not celebrating their demonic holidays. You can make it your own. That's kind of how I came to terms with it. Okay, bye guys.